Happy Saturday, everyone. Thank you for your commitment to joining us for this 4-week series called Sunrise Esoteric Practices for Preconception, Conception, Pregnancy, and Birth with Richard Kraft. This is our inaugural webinar series from Matra Sophia, a sanctuary organization and ecosystem dedicated to bringing in children with the strongest physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and social forces, and supporting humanity and families in doing so. Our 4 pillars are Ayurveda and yoga, anthroposophy or Waldorf education, indigenous wisdom, and holistic birth. We are so pleased to have everyone attend and for our Wisdom Circle member, Richard Kraft, to continue these series. A very, very warm welcome to the Mater Sophia family and ministry. Thank you so much for joining on this Saturday. And now it's on to you, Richard.
Mahalo. Welcome everyone to class 3 of Sunrise Esoteric Practices for Preconception, Conception, Pregnancy, and Birth. I would like to invite each one to find that space deep within their hearts. Allow the breathing to deepen, the in-breath and the out-breath. This cycle that takes place on many different levels of consciousness. And we enter into our hearts, and our hearts, as we enter in, they welcome us and open. And in this welcoming and in this opening, we're able to connect to the hearts of each one right now in this present moment. And we're feeling within this heart space and in the heart spaces of those that are physically present in this moment, those that are spiritually present in the invisible world. Within this heart opening, and we feel into their hearts, we communicate into this space that continues to expand. And as we feel into this expansion of this heart space, that happens naturally, accompanied by this in-breath and out-breath, we feel into this temple, this sanctuary that is always within each one of us, and that resonates within this sanctuary existing in the universe. And we feel welcomed into this sanctuary with our imaginations, with our mind's eye. We can have an image of this sanctuary absolutely how we would like it in this present moment. And it's this diversity that creates this experience that is unbelievable. And so within this temple, within this sanctuary, deep within our hearts, in this open space, I'd like to honor and appreciate Vinita and Maya, the co-stewards of Matra Sophia, and all the beings that are connected in their soul memory, in their soul story, in their myth that has brought them into this present moment. And I'd like to invite them into this temple, this sanctuary that we're co-creating together. This is our congregation. And each one of you that has accepted with your sovereign free will to be present, and each one that's not physically present, but yet is present in the invisible world, they're invited into this sanctuary with their myth, with their soul history, their soul memory, and all the beings that have assisted them until now to be in this present moment. So we're forming this congregation, the congregation of awakened souls. And this congregation then is now inviting and connecting to the devas of Matra Sophia and the devas of all these extraordinary organizations that are lifting the consciousness of humanity into this cycle of birth and rebirth, enabling the earth to continue its glorious path of becoming a sun. So we welcome and connect with them. And we welcome in this radiance, these rays that are continually coming into the earth's realm. From the far reaches of the universe, they come through the portal of our sun and illuminate our consciousness, illuminate our past, allow us to take these steps forward and into embodying and welcoming in our higher selves. So we invite and connect to these higher resonances of our higher selves and have them come into this temple, this sanctuary, this congregation of brothers and sisters, of sisters and brothers, of this universal family in which we're always a part of. And we call in and welcome in the great universal white brotherhood, this congregation of elevated souls. So these two universes are meeting as above, so below, as above, because we've created something extraordinary in which all humanity now will co-create together. We're co-creating sacred space. And in this sacred space, our brothers and sisters, our elder brothers and sisters, they're coming in, they're invited in, they're returning into the earth, and they're going, oh, we're so happy to come back into your presence. You've done such a good work coming into this density, accepting to come into the center of the earth and enabling our dear planet to raise up and bring forth this quality of freedom. Thank you so much. And the elder brothers and sisters, the great universal white brotherhood comes into this sanctuary, into this temple, to be amongst us here on earth. And we call in and invite Pan and all the nature spirits And they're saying, oh, we're so happy to come into your sanctuary. We want to co-create with you so much and to interweave on a conscious, free level. There's many of us that are there waiting for this invitation. And thank you so much for inviting us into your sacred space. And we're bringing with us these possibilities so that the earth can continue lifting itself up and entering into this beauty, this overwhelming splendor and wonder and mystery in which we live in constantly. So within this sanctuary, within this temple, we rejoice and we realize that we've never, ever been alone. We've always been accompanied. And now, for the first time since entering into the physicality of the earth's consciousness, this temple of the soul is edified, lived in, and rejoiced forever. Mahalo for your contribution, your life's energy to this activation. And so in our first two classes, we looked upon these esoteric practices that the solar rishis have given for preconception and conception, and I'll speak just a few other words on conception. And now in these next two classes, we're looking at pregnancy and birth and post-birth, and looking into what have the solar rishis offered us and what is the invitation that we can do as a congregation, as a community, to support and continue this activation of these pathways of incarnation and consciousness of birth and rebirth as we lift ourselves and re-enter into this sacred trinity. And we will look upon this invitation that Maya, through the Deva of Matra Sophia, offered in the last week, in our last class at the end, to see how these 7 rays, these 7 qualities that have been represented by many cultures and many teachings, what do the solar rishis offer us, and how, as humanity, we can work more and more consciously. And we'll enter in, hopefully, if there's time, because now we're entering into the core of these teachings that Omraam Mikhael Aivanhov, who's behind me, offered in his teachings on spiritual electroplating that he gave starting in 1946. So those who can count, not me, that's over 60, 70 years ago. Can you imagine? 70 years ago. He said, oh, humanity can be transformed. 4 generations. 4 generations. That's amazing. Yet it's not so amazing as we look upon, we're not only talking about the generations of birth, but we're talking about the generations of these souls that have acquired particles of the Christ consciousness and the Judeo-Christian, the Buddha consciousness, call it what you want, in their lifetimes, They've integrated this through their life experiences, and when they leave their physical body, they're bringing this consciousness with them. So that's also raising the consciousness of humanity. So the souls coming in, they're assisted, they're supported. This is the 4 generations. It's not one way, it's a cycle. So, a few words on conception, since in the meditation, the Deva of Matra Sophia invited me to enter into this sanctuary of the heart. This is what the disciples, this is what the adepts, this is what the future parents were taught by the solar rishis. They said, when you go to sunrise, when you go to this awakening of the new day, you're entering into the heart of the solar system. You're entering into the heart in which the universe comes through. The meeting of these 2 worlds, as above and so below. So below as above. So the disciples, the future parents, the adepts, they were taught, as you empty yourselves going to sunrise, that's what we talked about, you are connecting to your heart. So as you prepare for conception, this is where the conception takes place, in the heart. In deep within the heart, the woman and the man, these 2 disciples, that's where they meet in conception. They meet within their hearts, within their open hearts. And for a long period of time, this is where the disciples, the future parents, connect through the heart. And in this heart, what's happening? Well, their lineages, their pasts are coming up also. They're being purified by the rays of the sun. And the higher beings, all the guides that have supported these individual souls, are coming in also. So they're creating the temple in which the actual physical conception will take place. So these are the few words that I would like to introduce. Obviously, in these first 2 classes, there's hours that can be shared. That's okay. You know, it's what's unsaid that is the most important. It's not what is said. What is unsaid is much more important than what is said. Because that space, the unsaid space, the unseen universe, is so much more than the physical universe and the space. So the disciple was taught by the solar rishis to create the temple in their hearts, to purify this, to welcome in these rays of the sun every day. Every day, a small drop of this essence, of this radiance came in. And we're now going to explore that and enter into the science of the 7 rays. So, I talked at the end of the last class about these 2 triangles that are formed. There's a triangle between our 2 eyes, the 3rd eye, with the root in our pineal gland or pineal gland, and the triangle of our 2 breasts, solar plexus, with the root in the chakra of our hearts in the middle, aligned. And so the disciples, the solar rishis, they taught that as the disciple enters into sunrise and sits, they come to sunrise before the first ray of the sun, before the sun comes up. And before the sun comes up, they're sitting and they're connecting themselves to this triangle up above, activating that with their consciousness. So the right eye is connected to the sun, to all the solar beings. We're not talking about the physical planet. We're talking about these beings that exist, these elevated souls, these luminous spirits. So the right eye is connected to these solar beings. This is what the solar rishis taught us. This isn't me. And the left eye is connected to the moon, but the moon in its manifestation of what we call Saturn. For Saturn has, in relationship to the Earth, 29 and a third years to do its revolution, whereas the moon is 29 and a third days. So Saturn has 16 moons. So once again, we're talking about the space, 16 aspects, with the 17th representing the Divine Mother, this divine presence of feminine love, grace, mercy, understanding. These 16 moons that are gathered together represents our left eye. So these two are activated. The divine parents and the residents of our spiritual parents are represented. And as we gaze, what we're doing is we're activating that these two directions. The eyes, they look out, but they receive also. So we're activating through our eyes, through the sun and Saturn, the pathways of consciousness, these pathways of incarnation. Simply, we've walked, we've utilized our personal will, we've gotten up, we've walked outside, and through these steps we've taken, we've entered into the temple, our inner temple, our space. And now we're sitting in this sacred space of our hearts, and we're allowing our two symbols, our vision, to offer and receive the blessings of these luminous and solar beings that are now arising into the Earth's consciousness. So this is what the solar rishis taught. And as we're sitting awaiting that first ray, the two, they merge together and they create the third eye. They create this elevated son and daughter, elevated child that has the possibility to always see both sides, always see this unity and oneness. And so this triangle we create awaiting the first ray. So on ourselves, this triangle is with the point up above. Yet, what did the solar rishis teach us? Well, the solar rishis teach us that human beings were upside down. In reality, our roots are our top chakra. You see? So what happens is as we activate this is sunrise, oops, this triangle, which is like this, has its point on the bottom. I know this sounds a little far-fetched, but allow ourselves to imagine that. Imagine that our top chakra are the roots of our being, as above, so below, as above. So remember, I'm just sharing what the solar rishis and the mantra Sophia Devas are sharing with me to the best of my ability. And so as this triangle is formed, awaiting this first ray, there's this space emanating from our heart. You see? So that space automatically creates a link with our right breast and our left breast. Automatically in this space. Well, you can see that this triangle is with the point on the bottom, but you see, since we're upside down, this triangle goes with the point on top. So in reality, we're standing on our heads, which isn't too bad. I love the circus, you see. And just watching, I, I've, I have, my physical body. When I was born, I had so much energy, you have no idea. And, to try to do things, I was constantly breaking everything in the house. My sister's on now. She can absolutely verify. All I had to do was touch something and it would break. So it was all this energy. And so I loved watching people that could master their bodies because I couldn't master my body at all. It took years and years and years, and I'm still working on it. Still, I'm clumsy. You can ask my wife, Greta, all I have to do is walk too close to something and she'll do it and everything's fine. I'll do it and everything that's on the shelf falls. Everything. It's just part of my being. I guess I'm a clown. So anyway, we're upside down, you see? And so these two triangles, they're activated. And so these two breaths are activated by this heart space energy that we've connected. And where is this congregation of lineages that we came into? Well, it's our solar plexus. Huh? Joshua ben Joseph, he nourished the crowds with 2 fishes and 5 breads. Well, that's the structure of our solar plexus. That's our sacred congregation. It's linked to our entire lineage. Our whole myth, our whole story is linked there. And as we open our solar plexus, as our solar plexus is able to communicate with the universe and assimilate our life here on earth, because that's what affects our solar plexus the most. It's extremely receptive. And so the way we live on earth, our solar plexus become affected. So it has consequences as we decide to make choices. And this is what the parents, after conception, they were taught by the solar rishis. They said that now you're responsible for this soul. The seed is planted deep in your womb. And each of you is there to assure that this seed receives the proper nutrition, what Vinita entered into at the beginning, what she introduced. So it's very important for us to understand that this miracle of Joshua ben Joseph saying, no, don't worry about it. The basket is full. That's our solar plexus. The basket is full. And we're bringing in this congregation that's well fed. So these 2 breaths and our solar plexus with the heart in the middle. This is the triangle. We say lower triangle, but of course it's not lower in height in space. So the right breast is linked to the sun. And the left breast is linked to the entire Milky Way. So you can imagine the future mother was taught by the solar rishis, was taught through exercises of purification, of breathing, of rhythms of the day, of all the different forms of nutrition, to activate these centers. So when the child is born, the child is being nourished by light and nourished with the energies coming from the center of the Milky Way galaxy that we talked about, that Vinita sent out this image of this spiral. So this is what the disciples were taught. They absolutely received this information. They did the exercise. So here they are. These 2 triangles are being formed. We're at sunrise. The space, the sacred space is there. There's an activation, and we're awaiting this first ray. And so there were exercises that were given to allow this space to be settled, to calm. Because each one of us is bringing in, we're all bringing in our stuff. You know, look at the insanity on earth. We're affected by it, every one of us. And it will become more and more. But this is great. The good news is that we're becoming more and more able, because we're not blaming anyone. Remember, we talked about a little bit about Ho'oponopono. We're responsible now, and it represents an opportunity for us to not only assist ourselves when something triggers us off, but we can assist all the consciousness of humanity. All the consciousness of humanity. So everything is being put in to this as above, so below, as above. This connection of the human being. And believe me, every one of us, before incarnating, we were communicated this. Oh, you are going to represent a pillar in the temple, the sacred temple that is known as the temple of the New Jerusalem in the Revelations of St. John. This temple that's descending from heaven, this triangle with the point on the bottom, and entering into Earth's consciousness. And so I'm very fortunate to live on Kauai. And there's a beach called Secret Beach. It's not really a secret, but it is. So Secret's Beach is absolutely beautiful. Absolutely extraordinary. And when you go to Secret Beach and you're looking out into this color, this turquoise color of the water, you feel this Lemurian temple that's there, crystalline, and there's so many have described it. And so this is what's emerging in the consciousness of humanity. We have that memory, the Garden of Eden. It's been described so much, Shambhala. It's not imaginary. It's real. It exists in the regions of the living earth, in the ethereal, etheric planes of consciousness. And it's going to descend into physicality as we create space for it. So the disciple, the adepts, would come back to our triangles. And so they're waiting for this first ray. And as the first ray appears, it enters in through this triangle in the pineal gland. It draws it in like a straw, like a vacuum. It's extraordinary. We don't have to do anything. It's like breathing. It's like the circulation of our blood. The same thing. We do nothing, nothing, nothing. It happens by itself. And as we maintain the connection, it's the only thing we need to do. Get up, create space, and sit down or stand, whatever you want to do, dance, sing. That's the only thing we need to do. Everything's been prepared. Everything in our bodies has been prepared to receive what Christianity, the Judeo-Christian, has called the Holy Spirit. Everything. We don't need to do anything. We just need to open our hearts. It's the only thing we're being asked to do. We're little children. And so as we do that, we're watching this, right? Vroom, it comes in. And as we maintain the connection, the pineal gland overflows. It overflows and it starts its circulation. And it enters in to the chakra of our heart because we've created a space for it. It activates this other triangle. And our congregation comes alive. Well, what does this other triangle do? Well, the chakra of the heart does the same thing, yet from the forces below in our hara center, in Muladhara, in our sexual organs, it brings up exactly the same thing. We don't have to do anything. and these forces of unconsciousness and subconsciousness are brought into our heart space. The heart doesn't have a distinction. We don't have to be worthy to enter into a temple. All we have to do is take off our shoes. Why do you think this tradition exists in the Hawaiian tradition, in India? Taking off our shoes. Can we take off this identification, this addiction to our physicality, our physical body, to our pain, to our suffering, and know that we're received by these beings that heal, that take care of us? All we have to do is show up and take off our shoes and enter in and show a little bit of respect and veneration and devotion. So Rudolf Steiner was asked, what do you feel are the two qualities, spiritual qualities, that will assist the advancement of human consciousness? He didn't hesitate for a second. He said, devotion and veneration. And what's extraordinary is when I share this with people, they look at me and they go, oh, what's veneration? What does that mean? Can you imagine? It's left our consciousness to have this sense of honoring these beings that have come before us, that they have opened up, they've left something for us, and we venerate, we honor, we touch their feet. We honor what they have brought. So this devotion and veneration is how we enter the temple. So the disciple, I forgot something, the disciple and the adept by the solar rishis, it taught them, as you approach the place where you're sitting for sunrise, you ask permission to come. You ask permission to enter their temple. And you await. So in the Hawaiian tradition, this is what they did. Always. They always asked permission. When they went to visit someone, they asked permission. Even though they were invited before they came into the person's home, they asked permission. Oh, is it still okay? Can I still come in? And they await the response. So this is what the solar rishis taught the disciple. So before they sat down, they just stopped for a second, blessed the beings there, and asked permission. Would it be okay for me now to assist in this sunrise? 99.99999999%. There's always, oh, finally you've come. Thank you. But sometimes it could happen. It could happen. So this energetic response takes place. So now we're at the 7 rays. You see, as this light comes in, as this pineal gland is activated, this triangle up above reflects this extraordinary light. That everyone that's had a prism, that's held a prism with the point on the bottom, sees the light that's reflected into 7 colors. There's more, there's magenta also, but it doesn't matter. 7 colors, and they merge one into the other. And we know that if the point's up in the top, there's only 3 or 4 of the colors that will be reflected. So we need to turn this point to the bottom, and the sides of the prism need to be equal. So this is the work that's happening now with the triangle on the bottom. As these energies descend, they're adjusting this triangle of our intellect, our minds, the side of our hearts, our feelings, our sensitivity, our perceptual awareness of the world around us, and our actions, our will, our physical body. So this triangle now is being adjusted so it can then reflect the 7 colors and fill up our body with all those qualities. So each one of the colors has It's been said it has one quality, but of course it has millions of qualities. Remember, we talked about infinity. So what are the superior sides, or superior, the divine sides? Remember, we talked about that to the triangle. Infinity, eternity, and immortality. We're bringing that down through the pineal gland. It's coming through our different meridian centers, entering into our heart, activating these three others, adjusting, you see, pulling up from the bottom of our soul memory, any wounds, anything that still needs to be looked at and purified. This is what the future parents were taught during pregnancy. And so this work has an extraordinary name given by Omraam Mikhael Aivanhov. It's called spiritual electroplating. What that means is we're immersed in a cosmic ocean that has all the memory. Remember, we talked about that in the first class. We mentioned it. So we're immersed in the cosmic ocean. And in this cosmic ocean, everything's contained. And our divine parents, they plant a seed within us. Our spiritual parents, they enable us to have the energies from our higher self to cultivate that in the garden of our soul. So Omraam Mikhael Aivanhov, he said, yes, but here on earth, we've forgotten that connection. So what about this future child that's immersed in the embryonic fluids of the mom? That's there, immersed exactly like in this cosmic ocean. The mom and the dad need to offer these energies. They're taking the place of these divine parents. And by going to sunrise, they're calling in the energies of the spiritual parents. And so he's saying at that time, the child then is coded, their unconsciousness, their subconsciousness, the wounds that they're bringing in past lifetimes can be healed before they're born. He said that. He said before they're born, they don't have to deal with it when they're born. If parents are able to do this work, isn't that extraordinary? So in 1946, he gave these lectures. He was just banished from any type of intellectual agreement in the medical profession. They called him a lunatic, blah, blah, blah. And then years later, they go, oh, and now there's associations that represent this work in the entire world. Small. It's not like global. Look at where human consciousness is, but it's powerful. And next week, we'll hear from one or two of these beings that have consecrated their lives, and they'll share with us their experiences, their work, and knowing that Matra Sophia is not alone. Not alone. There are organizations that are going to co-create together. To do what? To create sanctuaries for birth. Because this is what Omraam Mikhael Aivanhov proposed. He said, okay, it's great, but alone. What do you want parents to do alone in this insanity of the world? We need to create centers that are consecrated to this, that have the best colors, the best music, the best healing modalities, pillars, the 4 pillars of Matra Sophia, and other pillars that other organizations are bringing in. And that the parents, they can come beforehand in preconception. They can enter in and they can purify. They can create this space. And these centers are prepared for it. And the pathways of consciousness are activated. The whole community and consciousness participates. Simple. Yeah, simple. Simple. Is humanity ready to embrace that? He said in 2 generations, not even 4, there'll be no more hospitals and prisons. Done. Done deal. Finished. Is this a fairy tale? I totally believe it. 100%. Totally believe it. And I know beings that totally believe it also. And as we connect and as we amplify and as we more and more support one another, then these communities, these sanctuaries physically on earth will be created. Absolutely. So this is one of the projects for Matra Sophia and for other organizations. You see, beforehand, there's other work to be done. Absolutely. And each one of us, just like for those that have seen Brother Sun and Sister Moon, this life of Francis d'Assisi, can you imagine? He said to everyone, just bring a stone. What if everyone just brought a stone? One stone. Well, the temple will be built. One stone. That's all that's being asked of us. Just find a rock somewhere. We just need to bring it all together. That's all. That's the only thing. So these qualities that are found in light that we receive every day, they're in profusion during sunrise. This is known. Now there are studies that are done that, of course, they cost billions of dollars to do these studies, whereas the solar rishis and all these, teachers and masters, they offered it for free. They're saying, oh, we don't need to do studies. This has been proven over and over and over again. No, but the human mind, that symbolizes in the Judeo-Christian tradition by Thomas. No, you have to prove it. There has to be proof that this is true. Do studies to say, oh, before sunrise, 1 or 2 hours before sunrise, and until the sun reaches its zenith in the sky, the prana and the quality of light is at its height. So Maya, to answer it's not a question, but your desire to receive these 7 rays, this is where these 7 rays are spread in profusion. And by creating the consciousness of these triangles and awakening, getting out of bed, if one desires, one has that choice, then we receive it automatically. And depending upon where we're at, what the day is, what we're working on, what are the activities, well, we can choose any quality. Oh, today I'd like to work on goodness. And so automatically we have this intention to work on goodness. Well, in that ray, one of the 7 rays, oh, it's destined for goodness. So the pineal gland, it sucks it up. I can use that word, suck up. And then it's diffused down into our lower triangle. You see? As above, so below. And that goodness spreads throughout our entire being. Okay, and so let's say we've lived experience where we're going, we're mad. We're mad at someone, or we feel that it's unjust. There's the opposite of goodness, whatever that opposite is. Well, that energy gets drawn up. And it's purified by the quality, this quality of goodness. If it's goodness, purity can be one. Joy. Oh, we can't run out of qualities. So this is what the adepts, the disciples, the future parents were taught. They were taught that these qualities are there in abundance. These are the seeds. So there are specific seeds that we receive in relationship to our purpose. Specific ones that we plant and we cultivate, you see? And there are other seeds that we receive from others in our life experience. And how do we receive those seeds from others? Oh, we open our heart. That's the only thing we need to do. Oh, our heart's open and all these seeds come in. And we look at them and go, oh, okra. I think I'd like to plant some okra in my garden. And I can get all this silica and then ask my friends that know how to cook with okra. Oh, they can make me beautiful dishes. I can just give them my okra. You see? So this is what we do. Why can't it be that simple? Why does it have to be complicated? Why can't we have fun? Why can't this miracle be something in which we're rejoicing and that everyone is responsible to purify, to support, to console any wounds, any pain, any suffering? Is it too much to ask? Do we still need to fight one another and kill one another? Everything that's happening on the outside, it's going on in us. So it's not like we're exempt. Yet we can do something about it. We can work on this at sunrise. So I hope Maya, I answered or I shed light on what the solar rishis gave as qualities. And I touched a little bit about spiritual electroplating. So what brings parents together? What is it that brings them together? These parents from the solar rishis is their soul purposes. This is what brings couples together. Their soul purpose. They interweave their soul purpose. You see? This future, I'm talking about the future of humanity. And in this soul purpose, this interweaving, the divine parents, they can manifest easily. Maybe not through the consciousness, but at least in the higher bodies. And then our spiritual parents, they can activate these higher resonances at sunrise, and little by little, it diffuses in and purifies anything, the wounds. So all this story of, for example, the Holy Grail, the quest of the Holy Grail, I was passionate for that. You have no idea. I had a book of King Arthur. I hid it under my pillow. I thought I was hiding it, but everyone knew that it was there. My parents absolutely knew it was there. And so, the lights turned out, and I would try to, get a little tiny flashlight and do that. And my parents knew that I was reading, the quest of King Arthur's, and I was passionate for that. And Robin Hood, you see, having that ability to distribute wealth. So this is our kindness. This is our compassion. We're not here alone on earth. So Vinita, could you get ready this last song? So what I would like to invite us to do as finishing, as an exercise, is imagine with our imaginations, with our mind's eye, that every single moment on earth, the sun is rising because of the rotation of the earth on its axis. Every single moment is receiving the rays of the rising sun. So I think it was 2 weeks ago. Maybe it was just before Vinita left for Boulder. I was walking to sunrise, and suddenly I hear, "Awaken and arise." And I went, "What?" I hear, "Awaken and arise." I went, "What do you mean? I'm awakened." And so I suddenly got it, that there's this wave coming into humanity. We're awakening and we're rising. Consciousness is rising. So I would like to invite you to utilize this rotation of the Earth's axis and enter into this surge of energy that's entering in with the dawning of the age of Aquarius, of this light coming into humanity and this awakening and this rising of human consciousness. So I'd like to read the words, and I wrote a piece of music, and unfortunately they're synthetic. It's written instruments are chords, they're synthetic instruments. I don't have a string quartet in which you can play it, but that will happen one day. And the person singing, he is on this class. His name is Jonathan Lee. He has an extraordinary voice. He learned this song in 1 week. It's almost 2 octaves in music, notes and range, which for the voice of a man is huge. And I just honor this man. He is an extraordinary friend, an excellent musician, and a being that's constantly bringing forth the highest possible vibration that he can to the best of his ability in every moment of his life. So thank you, Jonathan, for your participation. So I'll read you the words, and then during the music, listen and participate in this awakening if you choose. So, awaken. Come, awaken. The sun will rise, bring to earth love, wisdom, and life. The fading stars disappear and allow the space for the birth of the new day. Awaken and arise. Awaken, for now is the time to receive the golden rays of the sun. The birds are soaring high above the land, allowing for consciousness to grow and expand. Open and remember the universal memory. The light of the rising sun reveals our soul journey. Awaken and arise. Awaken, for now is the time to receive the golden rays of the sun. As the sun's first ray illuminates the day, allow it to enter, to deepen and penetrate. Every cell drinks and overflows, nourishing with light, filling our soul. Awaken and arise. Awaken, for now is the time to receive the golden rays of the sun. The sun knows and in abundance provides the essence of life. So each one may thrive, and all of earth will join and become a source of light, radiating as the sun. Awaken and arise. Awaken, for now is the time to receive the golden rays of the sun. Awaken and arise.
Come and awake, and the sun will rise, bringing to earth love, wisdom, and life. The fading stars disappear and allow the space for the birth of the new day. Awaken and arise. Awaken, for now is the time to receive the golden rays of the sun. The birds are soaring high above the land, allowing for consciousness to grow and expand. Open and remember universal memories. The light of the rising sun reveals our soldier bay. Awaken and arise. Awaken, for now is the time to receive the golden rays of the sun. As the sun's first ray illuminates the day, allow it to enter, to deepen and penetrate. Every cell breaks and overflows, nourishing with light, filling our soul. Awaken and arise. Awaken, for now is the time to receive the golden rays of the sun. The sun knows and in abundance provides the essence of life, so each one may thrive. All of the earth will join and become a source of light, radiating as the sun. Awaken and arise. Awaken, for now is the time to receive the golden rays of the sun. Awaken and arise. Awaken, for now is the time to receive the golden rays of the sun. Awaken and arise.
So within this awakening, within this upliftment, we have so much gratitude for all the assistance, support, friendship, love, cooperation, and co-creation that each one of us is receiving. And we recognize that we're all arising from a long night's slumber. And we no longer need to be aroused from our sleep. There's something within us that's surging, that's coming forth. And we're allowing this energy to awaken. And may each one of you provide during this week a space for this awakening and arising that's taking place everywhere on earth. And allow it to be planted within you, to prosper, to grow, and to bring forth its qualities, its blessings, its gifts to all of humanity and all of the earth. Mahalo. And may you all have a beautiful week. Thank you so much, Venita. Thank you so much, Maya. And thank you all for coming and creating this sacred space.
Thank you so much, Richard. Maya, would you like to ask the community for questions, or should I? Okay. If anyone from the community has questions or inspirations or takeaways, please raise your hand or unmute yourself, because we would love to hear from you and what is resonating in your heart and being from this webinar today. We have quite a lot of emojis, a lot of hearts, hugs, butterflies, and Malcolm, you are up. Please go ahead and unmute and you may ask your question or share.
Yes. Am I unmuted? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I've had the honor of being local to Richard, so was introduced to sun meditation with him, and I have my own daily morning practice that I do with Divine Mother, Holy Mother, and so when I made the switch over and started going the morning sunrise, I had a vivid dream where my mother came to me and said, "I've been kicked out of the house." I was like, "What? I've been kicked out of the house." So I sat with that, and it seemed like it was an either or between me connecting with the divine feminine and doing a sun meditation. And now what I've found is I do my morning meditation in the dark with the Divine Mother, and then I'm out the door meeting and going up to be there for the first rays of the sun. So I'm calling it the dark to light practice of the Phoenix. That's my practice that I do. And it's beautiful. There's a completeness to it. For me, I've discovered my own way around, bringing together the female and the male. But the triangle, Richard, that you talk of, and the idea of that first light ray coming up and just being consciously aware that my pineal's going off. I'm just going to go and use it. But being there for the moment, it pegs me to that day. It aligns me with the day where I go like zing. The day just started energetically with that the sun cresting, the energy that shoots out, and I'm there saying, "Ready, zing," and then it's like, oh, I'm plugged in for the day. So such an honor to be learning this from you, Richard. Thank you. Beautiful song.
Thank you. Thank you, Malcolm. Thank you for your participation.
And Malcolm, what I love about what you're doing is you're adapting the practices that are being shared for your own psyche and your well-being. So you're finding the form that works best for you within the teachings and the practices. And I think that's really amazing and something I think that's important to share with the community is that Malcolm is not only a community member, but he's also a homeopathic doctor. So this is coming from clinical and spiritual experience, what you're sharing.
Thank you. It did. It got modified in, and the dream was saying, "He kicked me out of the house." I was like, "Oh, wait a minute. We have to find a way that Divine Mother gets included, and I still have my dark time with the moon, and then I come to the sun."
Thank you. Would any of our other congregation members, community members like to share or ask a question? Yes. Miranda or Stream. I think it's Stream. And go ahead and unmute.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
So I have this vision that I want to share that every small community, every, I don't know if every block on the planet will have this place where people can come to, particularly with pregnant women, that and get whatever support they need for their health of themselves and their unborn child, and where they can have uh, a beautiful birthing experience, and that they can, if they were not feeling ready to be a mother, that they could leave the child with that at that place with these caring people and go do whatever they need to do, the parents need to do, but they could come back at any time, and that the child would be cared for, and with no, legal adoption or anything like that. And that's my vision.
That's beautiful, Stream. I love it. And I think that as these are voiced, as we allow this memory to awaken, because obviously for you to say this so clearly, so distinctly, with so much presence and love and conviction to presence, the conviction, it means you lived it in a past lifetime. You didn't just wing it. And these experiences in this lifetime, you purified, you created everything necessary now in this present moment to consecrate your energies to this. And perhaps the form it will take will be just what you just did. You planted a seed in human consciousness. And right next to you is Miranda, who is my godmother, and I'm the godfather of Madre Sophia. We're cohorts. We're working together, and the responsibility of that, of the godmother and godfather, is that we're holding space. This is what we do. So to have you there, contributing and bringing your life energy is a blessing, and I can only say thank you, and may you continue dreaming and bringing this forth, and your sacred couple with Miranda is just, I just honor it, and I honor every part of it, and thank you so much for all that you're doing. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for your attendance, presence, heart today, and connecting with your personal spirit and the universal spirit, and the inspirations which are coming for humanity as a whole and the collective to move into a higher frequency with more peace, with gratitude for our life, and with a strong inclination towards healthy embodiment, because we are human beings on this earth having our individual experiences, but also a collective experience. I would like to share with everyone that our Google Dropbox, or our Google Drive, will have the recordings for all 4 classes as they are ready with Greta's extraordinary editing. And so those will be available for you to watch or listen to until November 7th. If you are awakening and arising through Mater Sophia and Richard's teachings, please share. Even if someone registers today, they'll still have access and they can still come to the fourth class. Please share with your friends and family, invite them into this frequency, share your heart with people of what you're receiving. This is our baby, which has been birthed this year, and so we welcome the community in. And if you feel inspired by your generosity to create more donations for the support of our work and eventual creation of a birth sanctuary and multiple birth sanctuaries globally, we appreciate that as well. Thank you, everyone, for your attendance. We will see you next Saturday, October 25th at 8 a.m. Hawaii time, which may be different in your time zone, but you'll have access to those links as well. And thank you for this incredible community that is joining from all parts of the world. I know for sure we have people from Kauai, mainland United States, Mexico, France, Canada, and I'm sure other places as well. So thank you for helping create our global fellowship, and have a blessed day.
A miracle has blessed our lives in creation. From the farthest reaching star, I can see you. You nourish me as I give my life to nourish you. For in each other we are never alone. My breath is your life, life inspiration. My blood your pure stream that ever flows. My movement carries your soul destination. The mystery that will unfold. You are happiness, you are togetherness. We are welcoming you into your new home. You are peacefulness, you are pure consciousness. We are welcoming you into your new home.